I have your attention, please?
You need passion. You need desire. You need one. We play with that passion. We play together. We play for each other. And we play to win. We are Notre Dame.
Yes, now it's time for our regular slot on collegiate football. Notre Dame's Fighting Irish. I'm great to welcome Len Clark to the programme. Welcome aboard, Len.
Hi, Declan. The 91st edition of Notre Dame and USC goes down to the final minute. The Irish get the hat trick, winning their third straight over their arch rival by a score of 30-27 last night at Notre Dame Stadium.
And when you look at the score sheet, Notre Dame lost 3 to 4 quarters and still came out on top.
Well, good teams find a way to win, and it looked like early on in the second half that Notre Dame was going to pull ahead and stay ahead, but USC mounted a comeback, and Ian Book, the quarterback of Notre Dame, scoring a late touchdown. But really the key difference in the ball game was the special teams, as Jonathan Dorr kicking 3 field goals, and that 3-point difference was the difference in the game, 30-27.
Now we're going to bring the listeners some highlights from last night's game, starting with Cole Kmet's TD catch.
Second down 10 now from the 10. 8:43 left until halftime. USC leading Notre Dame 3-0, but the Irish threaten it. Book from the shotgun, claps his hands, drops back, looks to his right, throws to the 8. It's complete to Kmet to the 5. Touchdown Notre Dame! On second down 7 from his own 48. A reverse across the 45, 50, 45. Braden Lenzy sprinting down the near side. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Notre Dame! 52 yards. Braden Lenzy on the reverse around the left side. Field goal. The ball will be placed on the 42-yard line on the near hash from 52 yards away. 1 for 1 tonight from 45 yards out.
Let's do it, baby.
He's ready. Snap. Hold. Kick is up. It will be long enough. And it's good. Jonathan Dorr from 52 yards out. 12:34 left in the third quarter. Notre Dame now leads USC 20-3. 13th play of this drive is second down 5. Book drops back. Keeps it himself across the 10. 5. Dives to the end zone. Touchdown Notre Dame.
Yeah, some exciting plays there from the boys from Notre Dame. As you said, Durr's long kick was pivotal at the end.
Oh, it really made the difference, although the deciding points were the quarterback run by Ian Book. But let's go back and look at each of those highlights. The first touchdown, the only touchdown pass thrown by Ian Book last night, was the 10-yard pass to tight end Cole Kmet. Declan, you might remember that Cole Kmet was injured early on in the football season. He did not play his first game until the Georgia game, and he has really emerged as one of the top tight ends in the country. And it was great to see him getting into the action and scoring the touchdown. But that touchdown was set up by a 43-yard run by Tony Jones Jr., who for the third game went over 100 yards rushing yesterday against USC. It was Tony Jones rushing for 176 yards. He did not score a touchdown. And then Braden Lenzy with a 51-yard, not 52 like Paul Burmeister said on the broadcast. He was credited for a 51-yard touchdown pass or run. And that was the only carry he had in the whole ball game, Declan. So Braden Lenzy didn't touch the ball after that. And then, of course, Jonathan Dorr with the 52-yard field goal. That ties for the third longest in Notre Dame history. And his foot really proved to be the difference, and the golden toes of Jonathan Dorr out of Charlotte, North Carolina, proved to be the difference in this arch rival game with the Trojans of USC.
And now that was one potential bump in the road overcome, which is very important because they get more difficult as they go on, don't they?
Well, they're going to take a break this week. They're going to have a bye week with midterm finals going on right now, and so Notre Dame will have a chance just to relax, focused on academics, and then in 2 weeks they go up to the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan, to take on the Michigan Wolverines. And so Michigan is having an up and down year, but anytime the two teams get together, throw out the record, it's going to be a big brawl. And speaking of brawls, at the end of the first half last night, a little fisticuffs as Notre Dame and USC were leaving the ball game, and tempers started to flare, and then they were quelled. And then another interesting thing with an individual on the field last night is that after USC scored a touchdown to get it within 3 points, there was about 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the game, and so there was something known as an onside kick. If the ball goes 10 yards and it is recovered by the kicking team, then that team retains possession of the ball. Mm-hmm. And so USC set up for an onside kick, but if you look at the video from last night's game, Coach Brian Kelly was about 10 yards out of the field, and the USC coach, Clay Helton, was trying to plead his case and saying, hey, kick the ball over again. Coach Kelly was on the field, penalize him, but nothing was done about that, and the Irish escape 30-27. So anytime you get a win in this storied rivalry between Notre Dame and USC, it's very special, and so Notre Dame keeps the Shillelagh Trophy that is adorned with either a green emerald or a ruby garnet, and so Notre Dame continues to hold on to those trophies.
We have an expression over here to describe the situation where USC complained about Coach Kelly being on the field. We tell our players, play the whistle. So if the referee doesn't call it, just keep going.
Well, they did. They had no choice. But with only 1 minute and 4 seconds, you really have to do everything. And, justifiably, in looking at the video, he did have a legitimate complaint. And, referees are human, too. And it was kind of funny is at the end of the first half when the referees did talk about it could be an unsportsmanlike penalty on either team. The referee from the Pac-12 conference, which is the conference of USC, referred to USC as UCLA, and that's a cardinal sin, if you will.
Yes. Yes, we understand. We understand that here in Dublin, where we have 3 universities, and none of the other 2 universities wants to be mistaken for Trinity.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like calling UCD DCU, and you just don't do that. But I know you're a big fan of Chase Claypool, and Chase had a big night last night as well, especially on that first drive. And he had 3 catches last night for 47 yards, a long one, but they were very key plays. And I just think Chase is probably the best special teams player on kickoff and returns, and I think he's going to find a way to play on Sundays in the NFL. If he doesn't cut it as a wide receiver, he's going to definitely make it as a special teams player. He's 6'4", about 230 pounds, and he's mean. He's a mean Canadian.
Well, if he doesn't get into the NFL, I want him for the Alouettes.
Well, we had a nice conversation with some individuals yesterday about the Montreal Alouettes, and I guarantee you any CFL team would love to have a Chase Claypool. But, he's from British Columbia, so the Lions are in his backyard.
Oh,
so
I know that. But we take players from all over Canada. We're not discriminating in the Alouettes. No, my guys made the playoffs the first time in 5 years.
Yeah, I know that, and it's great to watch the Canadian Football League, and they've got some great players and teams, and it's very entertaining. It's a little bit different than American football, but Chase is going to play on Sundays in the NFL, and that's just a credit to him and the way that he has worked over the past 4 years. But Declan, a big win. Notre Dame improves to 5-1. They'll probably move up in the polls this week. They were rated number 9 for the past couple of weeks, but a big shocker yesterday is that third-ranked Georgia lost in double overtime to South Carolina, who is unranked. And so that does not help Notre Dame's case. They needed Georgia to win big for strength of schedule, but anything could happen on any given Saturday in college football, and even Thursday nights as they play Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays on college football. But you just have to wait and see what shakes out. But Notre Dame just needs to keep winning to keep their chances of making the college football playoffs alive. But right now, everybody, including the media, looking for a bye week just to take a break, and then we'll kick it back up in a couple of weeks up at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, and it's called the Big House for a reason, because it is, in fact, the largest college sports venue, I think, in the country. 100,000 plus spectators can fit in there.
Yeah, 110,000, and if you throw in some extra hockey fans on an outdoor hockey game, you might even get up to 115, but it's a special place. And what's interesting about that stadium, Declan, is that they're always adding on to it.
Yeah.
But that ground, it's dug into the ground, so when you go to the stadium, it's like walking into any building. then you go down to sit into the stadium. And so if they can keep digging a big hole, they're going to continue to add the seats.
It's a bit like the soccer stadium in Barcelona, the Camp Nou. Same idea.
Well, that's whoever was the architect of that. They had a great idea. It's easier to build down than it is to build up. But anytime Michigan and Notre Dame get together, now they don't play each other on an annual basis. There was a little hiatus, but it's the two winningest programs in all of college football. And with Michigan trying to keep Jim Harbaugh's job, he's the head coach of Michigan, they're going to have a little incentive to beat Notre Dame. And Notre Dame has always struggled up at Michigan. The last time they went up there, they took a loss. But this team's a little bit different this year. Throw the records out, and we're looking forward to a big game up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We just hope the weather cooperates as it gets further and further into October.
Well, we were talking about Chase Claypool. Another player we're interested in is, of course, the son of the Blackrock College alumnus. How's he getting on?
He has really emerged as a special teams player. He's really learning the system right now, but they do factor him to be as a linebacker in the coming years. And so he is really making a name for himself on special teams. And so we just hope that he continues to grow and adjust to the college game, and look for him to have a lot of playing time in that Dublin game next year.
This is his freshman season, isn't it?
It is. He's only been on campus for just over about 2-3 months now. And,
okay.
And when I think of the freshmen, and just it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Everything's coming at one time, and especially right now with the students going into the midterm exams, and that's just a little bit of added pressure. And so I know this is a big week for individuals just to kind of take a break from football and just to be a normal college student, which is tough to do at Notre Dame because the football players are underneath the microscope.
Well, of course, they are they're kind of ambassadors for the university on and off the field.
It is, and I don't know how they do it. It's their time is so limited. They're up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then they're going until 11:30 at night. And we've talked about this before. When they go on the road, it's actually a chance to take a break from their duties, and they can actually get some rest. And so that's another good thing is Notre Dame has played 3 home games in a row, and so it's time to get back out on the road and just for the players to take a little bit of a break, and for us to get a change of scenery on the Saturday when they play the Michigan Wolverines. But 5-1, and if you asked me at the beginning of the season, I would say 5-1 would have been realistic. But now the toughest portion of the schedule is coming up in the latter part of October and early November. So this is make or break time. That's why this bye week is so important for not only the players, the coaches, the media, even the fans.
Now, after Michigan, what are the next 2 road games?
Well, there's only 2 road games left, and so they will go to Duke and Durham, North Carolina, and then they finish the season on the road at Stanford, which is always a tough play to play.
Yeah.
So Notre Dame has 3 home games left, and so they have Virginia Tech, which is always a perennial power in college football. They have the Naval Academy, which is probably the toughest game from a physical standpoint, and Navy has been able to win some games over the past couple of years at Notre Dame Stadium. And then the final home game of the year, and right before the Thanksgiving break in the United States, is the Boston College game. Mm-hmm. Boston College down a little bit this year, but it is the only other Division I football playing Catholic school, and so we always call that the Holy War. And it'll be, it is always, throw the records out, it's always going to be a tough game. And every time I think of Boston College, I think of that game in 1993 where a kicker named Len Foley put one through the uprights to defeat Notre Dame and cost Notre Dame a national championship.
Right. Yeah, that one must still stick in the craw a little bit.
It does for those people who were born before around that time. And so a lot of the new fans, especially the students, they weren't born yet.
Yeah.
So they don't know the pain that some of us have endured over the years.
Well, hopefully this year's outcome against Boston College will be somewhat better.
Well, like you said, what we say was just take one day, a game at a time. And so right now it's just focus on getting healthy, getting academically in good standing, and then face the Michigan Wolverines in a couple of weeks. But Declan, I didn't get to see the rugby score. I don't know if you can say that score right now.
You can, yeah, of course. It was this morning. You can say it, yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't see it, so can you give me an update?
Yeah, well, we beat Samoa yesterday 47-5. What other game do you want to know about?
I think I was just concerned about the Irish one because
Japan played Scotland today and won 28-21. So we qualified in second place, and we're playing the All Blacks in the quarterfinal.
Well, that's going to be a tough one, but the Irish have always had a good opportunity against the All Blacks, and I remember last year when they were at Soldier Field in Chicago, where Ireland walked out with a victory over New Zealand. Yeah,
and we beat them on Irish soil for the first time after that. So that's
so it was a good weekend for Notre Dame. It was a good weekend for Ireland, and it's always great to wake up on a Sunday morning and have a win. It just makes your day a little bit brighter and better.
Yep, and yesterday was a great day all day because all my teams, including Notre Dame, won yesterday. My Habs won 6-3 against the Louis Blues, and my beloved UCD field hockey teams both won.
Well, I tell you what, you've got so many balls in the air juggling right now with all the different sports. But yes, hockey has returned, and the Blackhawks opened up their season in Prague, I believe.
Yes,
about a week ago,
yeah.
And so they hope to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals in this season, but. This is a great time of year in October where you've got baseball in the United States about to wrap up with the World Series. You've got college football, NFL, NBA basketball beginning, and hockey, and you've got international rugby going on.
And you've got the business end of the MLS as well.
And the MLS, it makes your show very interesting because you've got a lot to choose from.
Exactly. Keeps us going, as we sometimes have to have features in December when some of the sports are taking a hiatus.
Exactly, and I just want to say once again is that we're very proud to have Indiana Dunes Tourism that is going to be a sponsor of the Notre Dame Report on the ball, and we're very excited about that. And we'd sure like to have a lot of people from Ireland come over and visit the nation's newest national park. You can go to indianadunes.com. That's where I live, right there on Lake Michigan. That's where the national park is, and you're about 45 minutes away from Notre Dame. And so we say, come out to a Notre Dame game and extend your Notre Dame visit with a trip to the nation's newest national park, Indiana Dunes, at indianadunes.com.
And it's not that far away from Notre Dame, so it's like you might as well.
You might as well, and we need to get you out here to enjoy the national park in addition to a football game, Declan. So you need to work that in your schedule and do a remote on the ball and have it broadcast from here in the United States.
Okay, well, so if I get somebody to sponsor me now for that, that would be something.
Well, we're doing pretty good right now getting Indiana Dunes. We'll see.
We certainly are. We certainly are. Yeah, we certainly are. Okay. So what we're going to do next week is we're going to call you and have a brief preview of the Michigan game.
Okay, that sounds good. I know we'll probably have some updates on players as far as some of the nagging injuries and just a little bit more information about Michigan. Michigan will play next week. They are playing in the Big Ten, so we'll have a little update on how they're doing and kind of set the scene for the game between Michigan and Notre Dame in 2 weeks.
So will Notre Dame have a presence at the Michigan game, seeing how things are going?
What do you mean a presence?
Coaching staff, etc.
Definitely. This is all hands on deck.
Yeah.
And so it's only about 2.5 hours away from Notre Dame. And so the players will probably leave on
practically local.
Practically local, but once you cross the Michigan lines, it turns into maize and blue. But Notre Dame will have a lot of fans there. It's a great venue to play. You're not too far away from Windsor, Canada, so I might stop over and get a cup of Tim Hortons coffee over in Windsor, Canada, and enjoy the weekend up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But we're very lucky to be able to follow the Fighting Irish, and it's always special to talk with you about the team and to bring information about the team to the fans living in Ireland. And Declan, it's been interesting with the show. I keep getting more and more Facebook requests and messages from individuals who are living in Ireland that follow college football, and they're very appreciative. So we have to take our hats off to you and the staff at Dublin City FM for allowing this. And it just seems like it's getting bigger and better, and it's really going to hit its crescendo next August when Notre Dame plays Navy in Dublin.
Well, that's something to look forward to as well, and I'm glad to see it's getting a bit of traction with social media, because here in Dublin City FM they don't contact us directly, so it's hard to know. It's hard to know how that's going.
Well, you talked about being an ambassador, and I feel like I am an ambassador for not only Notre Dame but Dublin City FM and the program. And so, like I said, when you win, everything's great. My voice and tone might have been a little bit different if Notre Dame lost to their arch rival USC last night.
Yeah, well, as I said, that was one of the potential bumps in the road, circumnavigated successfully.
Yeah, but still a lot of football left to play, but Notre Dame is in control of their own destiny, and as we say, just take it one game at a time.
Yeah, and that's all we can do. And at least, as you say, the guys have a bye week. They can concentrate on their studies and their midterm examinations and what have you. And then we're going to look at the other midterm examination being the trip to Michigan.
We'll do that next week.
Okay, we look forward to that. Len, thank you so much for joining us on the programme.
Have a great week.
And that brings our Notre Dame segment to a close. Now we're going to finish the